So why did you guys decide to run for Executive Alliance?
For me personally, I kind of have had a recent, difficulty navigating certain structures at UT and a recent frustration with that. I think we have a lot of systems that have resources and things, but they're not really educated on or very accessible. So I think I had like a kind of a personal like frustration with that was like propelled that, and then kind of reached out to Elle on a whim and was like, please, I think your passion meets mine, and I think we'd be a great team. So yeah.
I agree, because I just like taking leadership positions in to be able to like make a change for people in the future, and so I feel like especially with a position such as this, you'd be able to do change for UT students to come.
Awesome, thank you. So what do you think is the Executive Alliance's responsibility like to the students on campus, especially keeping in mind that a lot of people don't know what student government does?
Right. I think that was kind of an emphasis within our campaign, is making sure that people know what we're aiming to achieve and how we aim to achieve that, because we recognize that we're the voice of the entire student body and we want to be able to like bridge communities within that. So I think our role is emphasizing that student government is not supposed to be just like an exclusionary like means of like governance and things. It's supposed to be the voice of everyone, and that's forms of communication and stuff to ensure that everyone knows what's going on, transparency within that governance.
Awesome. So what change will your alliance bring to campus?
So we plan to hopefully cultivate equality, make everyone feel like campus is their home, it's a place for everybody, make everyone feel welcome. Possibly have menstrual products in all the restrooms. I know some like certain schools do it, but it's not like a campus-wide type of thing.
I think, so we have five platforms, and kind of in a way they spell unite together, or they spell unite, and then our slogans unite together. They don't spell it out, but they kind of are merged within the spelling of unite. Cultivating equality is our like utmost priority, especially as a response of SB 17, or in response to SB 17. We've kind of have found like a recent frustration with so many people feeling like they no longer have a home at UT with the closure of like the MEC and things. So pushing ways to be creative and finding resources that can allow us to find those creative solutions to things that still abide by the law. And then mental health is a huge priority within our platform, and ensuring that everyone knows that the resources are available. That would come in the form of particularly a Canvas page that would be installed into everyone's Canvas, and that would also come after, similarly to the alcohol EDU and the sexual assault modules that are required for undergrads at the onset of their like college career. There would be mental health modules to educate students that are coming into college about what mental health resources are available on campus, and then those same like resources and stuff would be available throughout the entirety of their college experience through that Canvas page. And then we do food accessibility things, reinstating like food distribution initiatives. Career development is our last platform, and that emphasizes having like an app for everyone to be able to access career opportunities for all colleges, rather than just getting emails from your specific college, because we recognize that college is a time of exploration. And me personally, I've switched from career paths to career paths, and I still feel like kind of at a loss of like, I don't know what I want to do for the rest of my life. And it is scary because there's traditionally only like pre-law and pre-med accessible help and things, and business does a great job of providing opportunities for their students. So kind of mirroring the way that they have a Career Expo app, and creating an app for everyone to engage in career opportunities.
And access and autonomy.
And access and autonomy. There's one more.
Which is as mentioned before, like the menstrual products and all the restrooms and whatnot.
Right.
Sexual protection, condoms and whatnot in the restrooms.
Yeah, we also, I think, within the CMHC, we recognize that there should probably be resources, whether in the form of pamphlets, or the counselors themselves should be educated on how to go about guidancing students who come in amidst crises in regards to abortion, or knowing that the laws of Texas, like, given the laws of Texas, they should be knowledgeable about their options, and so that could either be educated in the means of the pamphlets that are available, or through the counselors being aware of educating students on those options.
Yeah. So what would you say is like your one major focus of the campaign?
Definitely cultivating equality. We feel like that's the utmost important right now. We want the whole student, as being the voice of the student body, we want everyone within the student body to feel like campus is their home.
Can you speak more a bit about like how specifically you would do that?
Oh, yeah, so 1 second, sorry. I'm feeling a little under the weather, but so one of the ways is like town halls. We think like town halls, newsletters, and forums. We think it's very important to be able to hear the voice of the students and like really be able to hear the issues that they feel are most important. So at town halls, everyone would be able to come. We'd have like a certain schedule to them, so they'd be maybe like twice a month or however often, and so all students could just come, voice their opinions, have conversations about it, make sure their issues are heard. We would also do, what else did we say?
The forms. So we've found, in addition, so back to the town halls, kind of like we were just talking about earlier with the closure of the MEC, we think that we need to provide a space for people to go and still feel like they have a sense of community on campus and are able to vocalize like their frustrations and things. And so we think that that would be the beauty of the town halls, is allowing for people to come and share their voice, and us really just being there to utilize our platform and share that support. We also would try to highlight a form that would be available to everyone. That form would not only be a means of kind of submitting people's frustrations and kind of like constructive criticism to us and how we could grow in supporting students, but there's been recent struggles of people or student organizations, despite SB 17 not supposed to be conflicting with student-led organizations. People have had frustrations with booking rooms and things for different activities. So that form would be, hey, I'm not able to book a room due to being denied the room allocations, and so then we would use our platform within student government to book those rooms for organizations. Yeah.
Yeah, so you've spoken a lot about like transparency. Are there any like specific things you would implement for equality? I know you've talked about the rooms a bit, but any other like specific things?
The last specific thing is, given the budget of student government, we would allocate that to student-led organizations that promote diversity, and that would be a strategic allocation of the budget that we get, because it is seemingly limited at times. But and also we would have to go about, like, the strategic allocation would be how can we best support everyone and not just like specific organizations over another. So that would be kind of the goal of how can we embrace our budget to do that.
Awesome, thank you. So why are you guys like the best alliance candidates to like implement these changes?
I would say one reason why we would be the best alliance is to implement these changes is because I think Grace and I together both have like a wide scope of campus. We come from very like different communities on campus, but we work well together. And so with that being said, we're able to hear voices from different people naturally already before even having to like search for those different voices from different parts of campus.
Mm-hmm. I think kind of the premise of our slogan being Unite Together is that we really truly want to unite everyone together within bridging our own communities and reaching out to others. I think already in building the campaign, we've seen how resourceful we are. We recognize that we haven't been in student government at UT yet, but that is not necessarily like a weakness of any sort. Instead, I think we've kind of built it as a strength because we're able to reach out to those resources and become knowledgeable about what we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to lead, and kind of using that to reach out to other communities and things. And building our campaign, actually within the policies, we reached out to different DEI lawyers in Dallas, and we're resourceful in that aspect because we don't want to create policies without knowing that they do abide by the law. So I think, yeah, very creative and very resourceful, being also very open-minded, like we were talking about within cultivating equality. We're really just like wanting to make sure everyone's voice is heard. So
yeah, that perfectly leads to my next question. You mentioned that you guys don't have student government experience on campus prior to this. So how would you work with student government, since like you've never worked with them before? How would you work with them as an alliance?
Right. I think, well, I've kind of already begun reaching out to, I've met with multiple people within student government to gain their opinions and recognize like how processes are fulfilled within student government. And so I think we would work with them by acknowledging, like we said, like you can't be closed-minded to the fact that haven't been in student government before. So recognizing that and moving forward with that and kind of building these like alliances with people and recognizing that we really just need everyone to contribute, and we would love for everyone to contribute. Like being representative of the entire student body as just two people is a difficult task, but that's why we want to ensure that more people, as many people as want to be involved, can be, and getting everyone's voices.
Also, Grace and I have already attended 2 assembly meetings to kind of like get a sneak peek of like how they work and what people's positions are, and maybe like what a report from a certain position looks like. So we've kind of like decided to go ahead and like kind of feel that out and see what it might possibly look like.
Right.
Yeah, so you touched on this a little bit before, but of course SB 17 is having broad impacts across campus. So what specific policy, if any, would you guys implement in the wake of this bill?
That would be cultivating equality.
Yeah.
So cultivating equality is in wake of SB 17. Of course, with that, there's only so much we can do, but at the same time, I feel like there's a lot when you get creative and think of many solutions. But as Grace was saying, that's why we used our resources, kind of like talk to the DEI lawyers in Dallas to figure out, obviously they're much more immersed in SB 17 than we are, so kind of just figure out what it is legal for us to do and what we just can't even touch on.
Right, that would be the budget allocation, the forms, and the monthly town halls. Currently with the issue of the MEC, we recognize that there's a current referendum that was issued by the current student government executive board, so kind of that referendum is issuing like a survey within the next election, which is next week, so kind of building off of that survey response would be that most goal, and seeing how people feel about the MEC and what, upon their vocalization of like the issues of the MEC and how they feel that could be transformed into a better community for everyone, we would build on those survey responses and try to ensure that it's still a spot for people to find comfort in.
So are these the policies that you guys had talked to like the Dallas lawyers about?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So with the conflict going on in the Middle East and how that has made its way over to campus, what specific things would you guys do in response to that, if anything?
Right, I think that kind of is tied within the Cultivating Equality Act, and still everyone still needs to feel support, no matter race, sexual orientation, religion, anything like that. So I think that was kind of bridged in within the Cultivating Equality bill of those forums, and the monthly town halls would still be a means of vocalizing that and providing that constructive criticism of how we can still show support for every community.
And that's what Grace and I feel is really like most important. I feel like we keep repeating it, right?
Yeah.
But with that being said, with this coming to campus right now and being a big thing, I think it is important that all students know that like we support them. All students know that it's just like we do have their backs. So yes, we are supposed to be the voice of the whole student body. So it's like no matter what, we will do just that. You know what I mean? So
I think it's also kind of connects to the mental health policy, because far too many students at this school, including myself at times, have felt like not really at home in the university, which is just really saddening, because you come to college seeking that home and seeking that sense of unity and community, and so I think that it's really an emphasis for everyone within both policies to everyone know that they have support and how they're able to find that support within finding a sense of community.
Yeah, and what unique perspectives would you guys bring to these roles? We can start with you, Grace, and then move over.
That's a great question. I think also connecting to my mental health, I think my perspective is, I would say I have a creative and like scientific perspective on mental health. I have an organization called Cope with Hope, and I did vast research within neuroscience and artistic expression, and kind of merged them into how mental health could be recognized through artistic expression. So I did over like 10 different passion projects. I worked with the United States Mental Health Roundtable, gained leadership positions here at UT about mental health, and really just engaging everything into that. No matter what leadership position I join, it still kind of all ties back to my mental health efforts. So I think my perspective could be, I feel like I could bring that mental health knowledge to the table and really be a benefit to everyone who really desperately, I think this university really desperately needs mental health attention, because there have been far too many incidences where I think mental health resources and education about those resources could have possibly even saved a life. So
yeah, and you've spoken a bit about like your mental health policies, but how would you bring that like experience specifically to those policies?
I think kind of that they were my experience was kind of worked into the policies, but I think with my experience, I recognize the difficulty within like structures here at UT. I have actually had to go through like a class absence withdrawal notification form, and then I withdrew from the university just for temporary like classes and things, not completely first semester, but I think my perspective on that topic is that there was such a lack of guidance amidst those processes, And it was really disappointing because those people who are going through those forums, like myself, really need extra guidance, because amidst the mental health crisis, that's the last thing that you're not going to be wanting to send 10 to 15 emails to different people, because that's just not the way the brain works. Like, you can't be doing that. You really just need that extra help and attention. And so I found that not really within the class absence notification, because Student Emergency Services did a good job of guiding me through that, but particularly within the withdrawal form. They require so much documentation. They require you to reach out to get signatures from X amount of deans' offices and things, which I understand the value of, but I think there was a lack of following up with me, and I've spoken to other students who had to go through this. They don't follow up enough about that. They don't really check in on the student who's going through that. And so I think it kind of leaves the student feeling in the dust and without guidance from the university amidst going through the university processes. So I think my perspective on that is that, like, amidst building the policies, I've already had to go through some of the policy, like, I've gone through the experiences the policies aim to, like, overcome, if that makes sense. So.
That does, yeah, thank you. And what unique perspective could you bring?
Thank you. I was like, oh. So I've had a lot of leadership positions. Currently, I just got reelected for National Panhellenic Council president. And within that, I am the president of, like, the historically Black Greek sororities and fraternities. And so recently, we've been doing, we had a Greek Day of Service where not only did we have my council, but we also brought in IFC and UPC. And so we tried to, like, unite those councils together and, like, all work together, communicate, get to do more things. So I was a site leader for that, which was great. I've also held multiple positions within Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated to bring people together. In both MPHC and AKA, we hold events to where people who aren't within the council or within the sorority are able to come. So my goal is always just, like, make them feel welcome. I've always had a, like, thing for bringing people together, which I love to do, and listening to people's issues and helping out. So I feel like that's one of my main skill sets that I would bring to this job.
Yeah, and same follow-up question for you. Like, how specifically would you be bringing those things to student government?
Mm-hmm. So I feel like within student government, I mean, there's so many people within it, right? So I feel like it is important to all be able to work as a cohesive unit and work together. I feel like especially when you are supposed to be the voice of student body, it's important to be able to talk with people, get to, like, hear their issues, whatnot. Like we said before, even within the town halls, it's important for everyone to feel welcomed within that. So I think that's how I'd be able to bring that.
Awesome, thank you. And if you could sum up your campaign in, like, one phrase, one sentence, how would you do that?
One slogan?
Sure.
Unite together.
Yeah. I think kind of within all of the things that we've touched on today, that's kind of the emphasis, is really just uniting everyone together and making sure everyone has a voice and a place at UC.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you'd like to add about your campaign or about the election?
Vote Grace and Elle.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you.